I set myself a challenge at the end of 2023. I wanted to platinum 26 PS3 games, one for each letter of the alphabet. So far, we've beaten Assassin's Creed 2, Bioshock, Infamous, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, and The Force Unleashed 2. So next up is the most controversial game of the 21st century, the one that makes no Russian in Modern Warfare 2 look like a cakewalk, and was banned in multiple countries. I am, of course, talking about Specopstheline. Specopstheline is one of the most intense third-person shooters you'll ever play, centered around the horrors of war and took inspiration from the 1979 film Apocalypse Now. Developed by the German giant Jaeger and published by 2K Games, one of the writers of the game, Walt Williams, had previously worked on some iconic games including Bioshock 2 and Mafia 2.
Wow.
Many fans and critics praised the game's dark themes, intense narrative, and proactive take on violence. The platinum for the Specopstheline is pretty simple, but a bit more challenging than some of our previous games, and is split up into 6 sections. 1. Beat the game. 2. Find all the collectibles. 3. Complete all the combat-related challenges. 4. Complete the game on the hardest difficulty. 5. Choose all of the good options in the campaign. 6. Choose all the bad options in the campaign. And 7. Clean up any remainder. PSN Profiles has set the game as a 7 out of 10 for difficulty and with an estimated time for completion of 15 hours. With that out of the way, let's begin the game. The player is thrust straight into the action. We take control of Captain Martin Walker, in control of a minigun on a helicopter. The objective is simple: fight off anyone who tries to stop us as we fly past the urban jungle that is Dubai and its skyscrapers. After fighting off a number of enemies, we are alerted by our team that a sandstorm is ahead, and the only way to lose the enemy is to fly straight into the storm. So like the lunatics we are, we head into the sandstorm and attempt to lose the incoming forces. Unfortunately for us, our pursuing enemy helicopter loses control and flies straight towards us. Just before it collides with us, the screen turns to black and we hear the remnants of a crash. Now that I think about it, this is kind of familiar. I wonder how many games start off with a vehicle hurtling towards the screen. Let me know in the comments below if you can recall any other games that start with an intro like this. We are greeted with a cutscene where Walker speaks about John Conrad, a military general whose mission was to head into Dubai and help evacuate the city as a sandstorm rips apart the city. Walker speaks about how Conrad disobeyed his orders and stayed in the sea to help evac the civilians. However, as of 2 weeks ago, an emergency transmission was received saying the mission was a critical failure.
You what?
As we arrive, we meet Martin Walker officially, a leader of a 3-man squadron called Delta Squad. The mission was simple: locate survivors including Conrad and extract Dubai. With us here we have Hugo, a lieutenant young in service with his soul and youth still unaffected by the terrors of war, who likes to break the ice with jokes and is the tech support for the mission. Our other member of Delta Squad is Adams, who specialises in combat scenarios and is far more serious than Hugo, which makes for some interesting banter between the pair. As we become familiar with the third-person cover-based action shooter mechanics, we're introduced to Dubai, or at least to what's left of it. We see remnants of an evacuation, vehicles abandoned on a highway covered in sand. As we find the distress beacon, we realise it was not of a military origin, but a makeshift device sharing the message. Adams discovers a recently deceased body of an American soldier in a Hummer.
Jesus Christ.
We get our first sign of the tone of the game.
I'm in danger!
Following this, we are confronted by some survivors who open fire on us after we are unable to convince them that we mean no harm. We now must make our way through the level, taking cover behind vehicles and debris, and take down any enemy forces who are hell-bent on preventing us from progressing to the city. After defeating all the enemies, we hear an explosion in the distance and head towards it, unlocking the trophy They Live for completing the first mission in the game, and good training for running into cover whilst under fire 10 times. As we progress into the second mission of the game, we receive a distress signal over the radio from a member of the 33rd, a military unit sent in to help with the evacuation of Dubai prior to our arrival. The survivors have members of the 33rd trapped in the wreckage of a downed passenger plane, and we must fight through dozens and dozens of enemies until we reach the cockpit of the plane. The survivors have the members of the 33rd in a hostage situation.
Of course!
and threaten to pull the trigger if we don't surrender. Unfortunately for them though, we played a lot of Stranglehold and Max Payne 3, so we take the enemy out in an epic slow motion sequence. This is good news, you're thinking. Well,
Nope.
not really actually. The soldier we were trying to save ended up taking a fatal bullet, and with his last moments he tells us that his Conrad was taken to the nest. So the next mission objective is simple: locate the other member of the 33rd and locate the nest. During the third mission we actually locate this so-called nest, and it is a helipad which gives a good view of the surrounding areas. As we explore the helipad we find our first collectible in the game and receive the trophy, Spotter. After this we follow some tracks and locate some more enemies. This time they're in a TV studio. We make quick work of them thanks to the excellent gameplay and cover system in this game, and we're introduced to the voice of the Radio Man, a journalist who followed the 33rd during their mission in Dubai. We'll meet him later, I'm sure, but for now he provides some disturbing news that the ceasefire that was currently in place between the American forces of the 33rd and the local militia is now over after American forces attacked them in the outskirts of the city. We knew at this point that everyone we came across that wasn't American were likely going to attack us, as the Radio Man has brandished us the enemy. With all the ammo we could find, we head further into the city, and as we approach this half-destroyed building, we are ambushed by dozens and dozens of soldiers. Unfortunately for them, we take cover behind what little safety we have and utilize the blind fire mechanic to take down 10 enemies whilst not looking, earning us the trophy, Blind Luck. As our ammo reserves are about to run out, a vicious sandstorm dismantles their ambush, and just as it looks like we'd got away with it, the floor beneath us gives way and we fall into the remains of a hotel, earning us our next trophy, Treacherous Ground. There's no time to rest though. After repelling the enemy forces, we make our way through this derelict hotel and take the opportunity to do some espionage and find an American soldier working with the local militia forces. As we are spotted, we end up getting attacked by the enemy, and we follow the tracks of the US soldier who tries to flee. As we rappel down an elevator shaft, we locate a number of deceased US soldiers, all lined up against a wall. The dark themes of this game continue to smack us in the face as the harsh reality of what happened to these soldiers becomes ever present. We hear the echoes of groans and screams as we locate a man being interrogated by a CIA operative. As we witness this brutality, we end up startling this CIA agent, and the soldier takes the opportunity to blow his brains out and put the interrogation to bed. Following this, the soldier states that he's going to inform his supervisor of our arrival and rappels down, and we earn our next trophy, the Lost Battalion. We find the soldier hasn't returned, so it must be on us to find out what happened. As we rappel down and reach the lower level of the building, we find an outpost for the CIA with lots of pictures and files and reports about the mission in Dubai. Following on, we locate more members of the 33rd, but this time they're rounding up civilians and taking them hostage. And as we try to intervene, they open fire on us, mistaking us for the CIA.
We are not CIA! We're Delta Force! We're here to help!
Because of our God Gamer IQ, the 33rd take heavy casualties and they retreat further into what we discover is a shopping mall-like area. During this stage, I actually unlocked another trophy called Army of One for defeating 3 enemies at once with a single grenade. The next part of this mission starts with us descending through the shopping mall and taking down the 33rd who are in our way. They put up a valiant fight utilising a variety of weaponry including stationary guns, explosive weapons and assault rifles. But thanks to our God Gamer IQ, we noticed that one of the windows looked very fragile, and as we shot it, the glass shattered and an avalanche of sand wiped out any of the remaining forces, earning us the next trophy, Desert Storm. As we continue making our way through Dubai, we hear over the radio waves that the 33rd captured a CIA agent known as Thomas Daniels and are interrogating him for information about their operation. Thanks to our tech whiz Hugo here, we triangulate the radio signal and come across one of the most gruesome moments in the game.
If this is Daniels, he's been dead a long time.
As the grim reality consumes us, the 33rd descend on our position and we brace for an epic firefight and earn the trophy, the horror, for discovering Daniels' body. Just as we expect our adventure to come to a gruesome end, we're rescued by a CIA agent and he helps us navigate through the area, defeating waves upon waves of enemies, and we earn a number of trophies. Firstly, we earn the trophy Preemptive Diplomacy for defeating an enemy before they can throw a grenade at us. Next, we earn the trophy Down Close for defeating a knife-wielding enemy within 5 meters of us. Next, we earn the trophy Close Combat Challenge for embracing our inner Terminator and taking down 4 enemies in 10 seconds with a shotgun. And finally, we earn the trophy The Human Factor for using all of our experience from Halo 3 multiplayer and defeating an enemy by planting a sticky grenade on them. Just as we thought this mission was going to come to an end, an enemy helicopter comes out of nowhere and starts firing down a barrage of bullets onto our position, and we end up getting separated from Gould. After we make our way out of the debris, we reconnect with Gould over the radio, and just as we're about to get some information about what the hell's gone on here, he ends up getting ambushed by the enemy and his radio signal goes dead. So we must find Agent Gould and find out how to stop the 33rd before it's too late. As we make our way through enemy forces, we're introduced to one of the deadliest weapons ever in military history. For those unfamiliar with this weapon, this is a white phosphorus. In short, it's a chemical weapon that burns when it reacts with oxygen and reaches temperatures of over 5,000 Fahrenheit, and is deadly when it comes in contact with humans. After navigating through the treacherous battlegrounds where Gould's men once stood, we finally locate the man himself, but he's in big trouble. We are now faced with one of the many morality-bending choices. Do we save Gould or save the civilians? This is one of the many brutal choices you must face in this game where there isn't really a right answer. But let me know in the comments below which was your instinctive choice. As this is my first playthrough, I chose to save Gould, earning us the trophy, a man of action. And then this happens.
What happened?
He just stopped breathing.
Sand.
Don't you fucking die on me. You got too much shit to answer for. Come on.
You can stop, man. He's gone.
Fuck!
What the hell is that?
A map. I think this was Gould's op plan.
After coming to the reality that we couldn't save Gould, we progressed into the next mission. We are faced with an impossible task. An army stands between us and our objective, and there's no way to get past them without starting a firefight. We don't have the ammo to survive the kind of fight, and the odds are stacked against us. What follows is one of the most intense and controversial moments in any video game. Throughout this scene, we must use white phosphorus to incinerate the enemies and must listen to their screams as they echo through our skulls. And as you can see in the reflection of the monitor, all you see is Captain Walker's motionless face reflecting back at us. As the last screams become extinguished by the white phosphorus, we must now walk through the battleground where the carcasses of the enemies lie. Some enemies were motionless, some were missing limbs, some were still alive, clinging on to life. Then we make a discovery that shook us to the very core. This is war. Sacrifices are made, the unthinkable happens, and those inside have to deal with the scars of what their orders have left on them. That's right, what we discover here is that the 33rd were assisting the civilians with an extraction, and the white phosphorus we just used to defeat the 33rd ended up killing several dozen civilians in the process. After making our way through the level, we come across this large room where 5 soldiers are chained to some chairs, and the reality of their fate is shared with us by Conrad over the radio. These 5 men right here were Conrad's closest soldiers who stood against him for his actions in Dubai. For their troubles, they faced the full wrath of white phosphorus, a horrific death no one should ever experience. Conrad tells us that we need to go outside, and another impossible morality decision presents itself. 2 men are suspended from the bridge. One is accused of stealing water, and the other was a soldier sent to discipline him who took it too far. Conrad tells us that we must decide who is to be punished and who is to survive. And if we do not decide, there are snipers who will take both of them out. Now let me know in the comments below who you save, the soldier or would you save the civilian? Whatever choice you make here, you end up having to live with the consequences of your decision. But on the plus side, I earned the trophy, damned if you do. With the consequences of our actions looming heavy on our minds, we come across hordes of enemies who are hell-bent on stopping us from getting any further into the city. And during this mission, we earned the trophy Marksman Rifle for defeating 350 enemies with a rifle, and Battle Management for defeating 50 enemies using combat commands. That's where you command Hugo or Adams to take down a specific enemy. Using the intel we have located so far in the game, we find out there is a CIA agent called Riggs who has vital information about the 33rd in their operation. So our next mission is quite simple. We need to locate Riggs and stop the 33rd. After fighting dozens of enemies and surviving a treacherous sandstorm, we actually locate Riggs and he's pinned down by enemy forces. Lucky for us, someone left this RPG lying around, so we used the elements of surprise and took down the bad guys and had this wonderful interaction with Riggs.
Captain Walker.
Jeff Riggs, now get in here before a sniper blows your goddamn head off.
You're welcome.
Excuse me?
Maybe you didn't notice, but we just saved your ass.
Kid's got a mouth, Captain.
Name's Sergeant Lugo, and he's got a point.
Really? So where's Agent Gould?
He didn't make it.
Guess you can't save everyone, huh?
Go on, Agent. What's your route?
About 400 yards from here is the city's main water facility. We were en route when we got pinned down. My op, Captain, is to get that damn water and cripple the whole damn 33rd.
You really think water's the key?
We're in the desert, kid. Water's the key to everything.
Before we can finalize our plan, we are ambushed, and this happens.
I got visual. Is it Riggs? No, it's Delta. Where's the old man? Right here. You son of a bitch.
The next mission is one of the most memorable and most intense combat-wise. We must fight through the ambushing enemy forces, make our way through the water holding facility, along the way getting attacked by elite enemy forces called Zulu, who suck on Fubar by the way, and get to the water before it's too late. After failing a number of times, I ended up beating the Zulu troops, making our way through the car park and making it to the entrance of the aquatic Coliseum, where all of the water for the 33rd is being held. Upon entering the water facility, we receive a call from Conrad. Conrad starts to plant the seed of doubt in our mind about Riggs and his intentions, but nevertheless we continue with the mission and we have to work our way down multiple levels of this building until we get to the water truck. This mission takes us a few tries, especially on the Fubar difficulty, which caused a lot of aggro. However, we did end up overcoming the challenge, and the second part of this mission is pretty intense. We have to defend the water trucks as they're driven out of the facility and to a safe location, utilizing a grenade launcher to make quick work of the enemy troops, vehicles and helicopters before they can stop us. Then this happens.
Sorry, boys, but they ain't getting this water back. No matter the cost. He's crashing the trucks! Riggs, you son of a bitch! 4 days, this city will begin dying of thirst. Just like Riggs wanted. This is your fault, Walker. You did this, not me.
We now face another morality-bending decision. Riggs is trapped under one of the water trucks and there's oil spilling around him. We have our trusty Magnum and one bullet in the chamber, and we must decide, do we put Riggs out of his misery or do we leave Riggs so that the fire can consume him and give him a death that he, some might argue, would deserve? Let me know what decision you made here on your first playthrough. Did you save the bullet or did you allow Riggs Riggs to have a pain-free passing. I made the decision to let the fire do its thing and earn the trophy Unfriendly Fire. The next mission is to link back up with Hugo and Adams. However, the 33rd have our men pinned down in a nearby shopping centre. We have to sneak around through one of the shops and get behind the enemy forces using all of our experience from The Last of Us to make sure we don't get caught and snipe the man holding Hugo hostage with our trusty Desert Eagle before the sniper can take us out. The next fight begins where Hugo and Adams and I must exchange blows with the enemy in this shopping centre, and I earn a number of trophies during this mission. Firstly, I earned the trophy Aim High for defeating 250 enemies with headshots. The next one we earned was Marksman Snipe for defeating 50 enemies with snipers, and Marksman Grenade for defeating 50 enemies with grenades. Throughout this mission, you are separated from Hugo and Adams, and you must work together with them, utilising different angles and vantage points to help each side progress through the shopping centre. At the end of this mission, you must use this minigun to help Hugo and Adams ascend the different levels of the shopping centre to reach the roof and zipline across to you. However, enemy forces are flooding the area. You must do everything in your power using the minigun to take down every enemy that tries to get in their way. Eventually, as they link back up with you, you earn the trophy 3 Kings. So our next mission is to find out where the Radio Man is located to shut him up. Sounds simple enough. However, after witnessing a helicopter pass over our location, it becomes apparent that the Radio Man is expecting us and is preparing his forces for our arrival. En route to the radio tower, we do earn a number of trophies, including Recon for recovering 12 intel collectibles and Marksman Heavy Arms for defeating 150 enemies with heavy weaponry. Mr. Radio Man taunts us regarding our approach, and as the radio tower falls into view, we noticed a few dozen enemy forces waiting for our arrival. After rappelling across to the radio tower and taking down all the enemies, we finally meet the man himself. And this is how this introduction went.
Clock's ticking, Lugo.
Yeah, I'm on it. This deck's custom, so I'm gonna need a minute.
What's that sound? Those voices?
Easy there, G.I. Joe. That's just a cloud echo. We hear that shit all the time.
A what?
It's a signal bouncing off the storm wall.
Hey now, check out the whiz, kid.
It was textbook. You're the guy who built a citywide broadcast system with spare parts. That's impressive.
Oh, well, you know. You said it, not me.
Like, I see where you boosted the transmitter, but how far does this thing really go?
To infinity and beyond! Or the storm wall. Same difference.
Now you're just fucking with me.
Oh, ye of little faith. You are live and on the air, my good man. Give it a shot.
Wow. That was easier than I expected.
To anyone who can hear me, I'm the commander of an American evacuation force. We're here to rescue you. But first, the 33rd will pay for what they've done.
I'm disappointed in you, Walker. No one leaves Dubai. I tried. 1,300 men, women, children dead because of my arrogance. And now you want to finish off the rest? If you will not learn from my mistakes, then there's nothing more I can do. Your butcher's bill is high enough. Goodbye, Captain.
Whilst interrogating the radio man, we realise enemy forces are approaching our position. So Hugo makes the honourable decision to stay at the radio tower and cover us, whilst we make our way to a helicopter nearby. After failing a number of times,
Bruh.
This is a load of barnacles.
1 hour later.
we end up reaching the helicopter and cover Hugo as he runs towards us. This part of the mission is pretty intense as well. Walker decides we're going to take out the radio tower once and for all, and whilst Adam pilots like the expert pilot he is, we jump on the minigun and take down the supporting pillars of the radio tower, causing it to collapse, and an epic spectacle, earning us the trophy, The Great Escape. We are now thrust back into the mission that started it all. Aboard the helicopter, helicopter being pursued by enemy forces whilst flying past the urban skyscrapers of Dubai. This time the enemy forces are using missiles to try and take us down, so we have to be extra vigilant this time and shoot the missiles before they hit the helicopter. This time the screen doesn't fade to black and we actually witness the helicopter crash. After regaining consciousness, Conrad's voice echoes in Walker's mind as the harsh reality of the choices we've made hang heavy on Walker's mind, each second slipping further into madness as echoes of the people we've met throughout the game come to haunt us for sealing their fates. As the hallucination fades, we hear Adams over the radio. He's pinned down and injured and Hugo's not responding either. It's time to locate the team again, utilising some nearby small weapons including some SMGs and pistols to take down the enemies who have Adams pinned. During this mission we earn the trophy Marksman Small Arms for defeating 50 enemies with an SMG or pistol, and Adapt and Overcome for defeating 10 enemies with environmental hazards. As we make our way through this mission, we hear Hugo over the radio. He's distressed and running low on ammo, acting quite frantic and being attacked by an unknown enemy. Remember when I said this game continues with the intensity of ramping it up to 100? Well, the next bit is pretty brutal. As we make it to Hugo's last known location, we find him dangling by a rope around his neck as locals have assaulted him, and this extremely distressing scene happens.
You heard him! Back up right now! I said back the fuck up! Hurry up, Walker! Breathe, Lugo! They ain't taking the hit! God damn it, breathe! How's he doing? Answer me, Walker! Come on, Lugo! Is he breathing?
You can't keep getting away with this! He can't keep getting away with it!
He won't. We face another morality challenging decision. Do we shoot in the air and scare them off, or do we act with vengeance for what's happened to Hugo? Let me know in the comments below which decision you made. Saw red mist in this moment, so I earned the trophy A Line Crossed for choosing revenge. After losing Hugo, the relationship between Walker and Adams is strained to the max. However, we still stick with the mission, but this time we're going to make Conrad pay. We must fight through all of the remaining 33rd until we reach Conrad himself. However, in a desperate moment, Adams makes the honourable sacrifice and draws all the enemy's attentions away, allowing us to reach the tower where Conrad is waiting. As we make it to the top of the tower and we locate Conrad, we earn the trophy A Bridge Too Far, and this happens.
It seems that reports of my survival have been greatly exaggerated.
This isn't possible.
Oh, I assure you, it is. How? Not how. Why? You were never meant to come here.
We have our orders. Leave the city, radio command from outside the storm wall. They send in the cavalry, we go home. What happened here was out of my control.
Was it? None of this would have happened if you just stopped. But on you marched. And for what?
We tried to save you.
You're no savior. Your talents lie elsewhere.
This is your fault, goddammit! Stop right there, Lugo. He wouldn't listen! We didn't have a choice! He turned us into fucking killers!
This isn't my fault.
It takes a strong man to deny what's right in front of him. And if the truth is undeniable, you create your own.
What the hell happened? I don't know. He just stopped moving. Walker, snap out of it.
I get it. We have to choose.
The truth, Walker, is that you're here because you wanted to feel like something you're not. A hero.
Lugo! You left me to die!
I'm here because you can't accept what you've done. It broke you.
Colonel? Colonel, please.
What's going on, Walker?
It's Conrad. He did it. All of it.
You needed someone to blame, so you cast it on me. You're a dead man.
Another morally questioning decision faces us here. Do we end it all, or do we suppress that reality once and for all? In this moment, we chose to say goodbye to Conrad, earning us the trophy Too Late the Hero, and we earned this cutscene.
This is Captain Martin Walker, requesting immediate evacuation of Dubai. Survivors. One too many.
As the credits roll, we earn the trophies Boot, We Were Soldiers, and the Devil's Discipline for beating the game on easy, medium and hard, and we unlocked the hardest difficulty called Fubar. Following the credits, we experience an epilogue, one that can only be experienced if you choose to put an end to Conrad at the end of the game. The military have sent the army in to bring you home, and you get another decision. Do you go out in a blaze of glory and make a stand, or do you hand over your weapons and go with the army, knowing that all the decisions you made in this game would be questioned? I decided I wanted to go and be with Hugo and Adams, and I earned the trophy, The Road to Glory. At this point in the game, we had 17 trophies left, 9 combat related trophies, 5 choice related trophies, 1 trophy related to difficulty, 1 trophy related to collectibles, 1 miscellaneous trophy, and the elusive Platinum Trophy. What I was not prepared for at this point was the amount that I would have to endure to beat this game on the hardest difficulty. Nevertheless, we started our new playthrough on the Fubar difficulty. However, it wasn't long before we earned our first trophy. This trophy was called Deer Hunter, and all you need to do is shoot one of the aurochses, which is a herd of deer, in the game. The next trophy didn't actually pop for another 20 minutes, probably because I kept dying because of the Fubar difficulty. During the first mission, when we have to help Alpha Squad who are pinned down by enemy forces, we melee a number of enemies, defeating them in the process, and earned the trophy Applied Force for defeating 10 enemies with melee attacks.
Hey, that's pretty good.
The next trophy was obtained after falling through the glass. You have to trace a CIA agent into his hideout. During this section, I earned the trophy Marksman Shotgun for reaching 75 kills with a shotgun across both playthroughs. The next trophy wasn't popped for another 2 hours. Following a lot of failures on my part, I actually earned the trophy Airspace Control because I was able to take down 10 enemies that were suspended down zip lines before they hit the ground. After this point, the Fubar difficulty spike really started to put a damper on my playthrough, and I racked up over 30 deaths. And knowing my limit, I decided to take a night off and come back to the game the following day. And that actually turned out to be a pretty smart move, because when the new day dawned, I ended up earning 5 trophies across 5 hours of playthrough, including In Your Face for kicking 10 enemies in the face whilst vaulting over cover. The next trophy was A Man of Patience for choosing to save the civilians instead of Gould. The next trophy was Damned If You Don't for attacking the snipers instead of the hanging civilian or soldier. The next trophy was Situational Awareness for using the environmental hazards to drop a load of sand on enemies' heads and stunning them. And finally, the next trophy was Friendly Fire for choosing to end Riggs' life instead of letting the flames do the job for me. After re-experiencing the horrific passing of Hugo, we decided to shoot in the air, forcing the civilians to run off scared, and we earned the trophy A Line Held, quickly followed by Intel Operative, which was earned when you find all of the intel. After making our way through the final level, we finally get to the final decision, and we choose to pull the trigger on ourselves, earning us the trophy MFWIC for beating the game on their hardest difficulty. At the end of the second playthrough, and we had 4 trophies remaining. 1 choice-based trophy, 2 combat-related trophies, and the Platinum Trophy. The choice-based trophy here involved us reloading the Epilogue mission and choosing to go with the soldiers. After you make this decision, you earn the trophy The Road Back. The next trophy is called All You Can Be, which requires you to obtain a 60% accuracy rating on a single mission without dying or reloading. The final trophy that I needed before the Platinum Trophy was called Sierra Hotel, which involved beating 3 chapters in the game without dying or reloading. And after I popped the trophy, I earned the Platinum Trophy Legion of Merit.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on!
So, What did I think about Specopstheline in 2024? Firstly, this game should still be regarded as one of the darkest and most intense video games of the 21st century. The themes of the reality of war, the cost it has on people, and the damage it can cause on their mental health. Unlike most shooters that focus on the glorifying of the hero that you are, this game shows you the real reality of war. The dark story feels authentic and unlike anything I've played in the last 5 years, and it's still an incredible game to play in 2024 and I highly recommend it. Let me know what games you'd like to see on the channel next. If you want to chat with me live whilst I play some of these epic games, then make sure you check out the Twitch channel where I stream every Wednesday and Sunday from 7 PM EST. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's helped us reach over 600 subscribers on the channel. I love and appreciate you all, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.